Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable.
Revolution.
First, what is a revolution?
Revolution is the solution, hey.
The motive of a revolution.
Well, now,
The objective of a revolution.
we televise.
And the result of a revolution. And the methods used in a revolution.
I know you know. Put my gun away. Never gonna put my gun away. Put my gun away. See that mob, you better run away.
This generation of Americans has already had enough, more than enough, of war and hate and oppression.
Hello, Internet. How is everybody this lovely Sunday evening? Hope everybody had a good week, a good weekend, and you're ready for a case of the Mondays. Let's see who we got here. Wally World, good to see ya. I apologize for being a little bit late. I had just enough time to get a run in, and the last half mile, for the second day in a row, a random dog joined me on my run. Yesterday was my neighbor's dog, and he follows me everywhere, so that wasn't that shocking, even though I was like 2 miles in before I realized he was behind me. Today, at the very end of my run, like a half mile left, this German Shepherd just appeared and just started running with me with this big, giant, goofy look on her face. It made my day. It was kind of awesome. She was super sweet. And she just kept following me. She wouldn't leave. I told her to leave. She wouldn't leave. So she followed me all the way home, called the owner. He came over, got her. Now I got a new friend. So, yeah, apologize for being late. Again, I hope everybody's doing well. We got a ton of stuff to talk about. All California tonight is going to be, I'm going to get back in my lane. I won't be talking about Israel and Iran and Gaza and all that crap. Looks like we're not at war. Looks like things have cooled off a little bit, even though I don't think we've seen the last of this. I think Iran's closer to getting it, or is probably more likely to get a nuclear weapon now, but we're not going to talk about that tonight. That's for another episode when things inevitably heat up again. And my dog is rolling around on the ground behind me. That's Scarlett. She's the star of the show. Scarlett, you want to come say hi? Come here. Come on. Come say hi to everybody. Scarlett, up here. No, you're not doing it tonight? All right, whatever. She doesn't want to say hi. Okay, so we got tons of California stuff to talk about, and we're going to start off with something coming out of LA that's just typical LA shit that you'd expect from radical progressive Democrats. So this is from Wall Street Apes. Apparently, the Los Angeles Tenant Union, yes, because tenants, not homeowners, landlords, but tenants have a union. And apparently, they are lobbying the government to have an eviction moratorium for illegal immigrants because they're scared to go to work, because they're scared they'll get deported. Yes, you heard me correctly. They are lobbying the Los Angeles County or city or whoever to have an eviction moratorium so landlords can't kick out illegal immigrants because they're scared to go to work. Yes, you heard that correctly. So let's go over to Wall Street. Let's go over to Wall Street Apes. He's got a clip from KCal News that we're going to pull up here, and it's shocking. I mean, it's not really that shocking. This is shit you'd expect coming out of LA. All right, so this is from KCal News. Let me get the screen right here. Apologize. Where are we at? There we go. All right, let's go over to KCal News here and see what they have to say about this, because this is just silly.
Continue. The LA Tenants Union is calling for an eviction moratorium. They say thousands of immigrants will be unable to pay their bills come July 1st because avoiding detainment is taking priority over going to work.
Oh,
This militarization of our community, this occupation of our community, this terrorizing of our communities have closed down businesses, have taken away street vendors, have separated families.
taking away street vendors, the street vendors that set up their hot dog carts and other food carts right outside of restaurants where they don't have to go by any of the county inspection policies or pay for any of the stuff. They're allowed to do all of their food vending completely illegally, while the restaurant owners, who they're taking a business away from by parking out on the sidewalks in front of the restaurants, have to abide by all these policies. It's amazing. It's amazing she even brought that up. Bay Area conservative. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. If you guys are watching, please repost the episode, like the episode, leave a comment. All helps the algorithm.
And then people cannot pay their rent. They have barely the minimum to survive. We need the city to put a rent freeze. We need the city to protect tenants that are going to be suffering this 1st of July when they're going to be receiving 3-day notices because they cannot pay the rent.
The union is also calling for a citywide day of action and organization on July the 1st. It continues.
Unbelievable. This is what sanctuary states get you. This is the stuff sanctuary state policies create. Amazing. All right, this is more on that. This is from Kevin Dalton. So the Los Angeles City Council will vote Friday on an eviction moratorium for illegal immigrants affected by ICE raids throughout the city. So they're actually going to vote on this. They're actually considering this. So it's going to the LA City Council. It's not a countywide thing. Terry Wallace, you're never late. A wizard arrives precisely when they mean to. That was a Lord of the Rings reference. If you didn't get that, it was a Gandalf reference. All right, yeah, let's watch this. This is from ABC7. Same topic. Terry said you're late. LA, this tenants union in LA is lobbying the city government to have an eviction moratorium for illegal immigrants because they're scared to go to work in fear of getting deported. Yes, they want to have a freeze on rent. They're trying to have a freeze on rent.
Tenants union, along with some other major labor unions, are joining forces today demanding action to protect Angelenos against immigration raids. The local
Angelenos, whatever.
SEIU 721 labor union, along with CREW and the tenants union, are asking the LA City Council to pass an emergency protection to help families who may face eviction due to the immigration raids. The unions say many families may not be able to cover rent due to a family member who may have been taken by ICE, or who have family who may not be able to leave their homes due to fear of kidnapping. The groups claim Latinos make up majority of renters in the city of LA. They also say local residents have had enough to deal with, from COVID to the economic crisis and our deadly firestorm. Now the raids are creating unnecessary fear.
Nowadays, I mean, you don't know who's a cop, who's an ICE agent, not who's a bounty hunter. And now I can be dressed as a cop.
Exactly.
And just go kidnap people.
No matter what you're legal.
No, you can't. You can't do that. You can't dress up as a cop and kidnap people. That's called impersonating an officer, and it is a crime. And no, you can't do that.
Status it is right now. We are all in fear. I had mentioned earlier, I mean, I'm a naturalized citizen, but my daughter is a born USA citizen, and she's scared.
While groups are making these demands, the LA City Council is looking to take action against the federal government due to the immigration raids. Last week, 7 city council members signed a proposal asking the city attorney to take immediate legal action to protect people from being racially profiled or unlawfully detained. Now, the proposed lawsuit still has to head to 3 council committees for consideration. The full council is expected to vote by the end of the week.
So I will not be surprised at all if the city council actually passes this thing and says landlords, you can no longer charge rent to, I mean, you know what? If you're a landlord and you rent it to an illegal immigrant, even though there's probably a law saying that you can't, there's probably a California law saying that landlords can't discriminate against illegal immigrants. They can't ask for immigration status on a rental application. I would not be surprised if that's already a law. So I'm not going to be shocked at all if the Los Angeles City Council says, you know what, landlords, you can't evict your tenants. You can't ask them to pay rent because they're scared to go to work because they're illegal immigrants. Again, this is what sanctuary state policies create. This is what socialism creates. It's freaking madness. It's almost impressive how retarded this whole thing has become. It's amazing to me. All right. Yeah, let's keep going here. I'll talk a little bit more about immigration stuff later on in the episode, but we got a lot to cover, and I'm going to try and only go an hour. I probably got a little more than an hour of stuff to cover tonight, but yeah, we'll keep going here. So I was curious. You guys heard Gavin Newsom suing Fox News for $787 million, the same amount that Dominion sued Fox News when with the whole, hacking allegations and overturning votes through the Dominion voting software stuff came about in 2020. Remember, Dominion sued Fox News and they got awarded $787 million. So Gavin Newsom decided to sue them for the exact same amount. It's like, who's paying for this? Who's paying for Gavin Newsom's good old lawsuit against Fox News there? And so I just asked Grok, and this is from Politico apparently. So I asked, who is paying for Gavin Newsom's lawsuit against Fox News? And the answer, California Governor Gavin Newsom is funding his $787 million defamation lawsuit against Fox News by using his campaign account, as reported by Politico. Newsom is suing in his personal capacity, not as an official act of the state, so taxpayer money is not being used. His aides have confirmed that any legal costs or penalties will be paid from his campaign funds, and any proceeds from the lawsuit will be directed to anti-Trump causes. I mean, I don't know if it's legal, but I definitely don't see the Secretary of State doing anything about it. So, I mean, that definitely seems like a misuse of campaign funds to me, but who am I? It's not shocking at all, folks. Not shocking at all. So I got this staying in the Gavin Newsom vein. I got I came across this California Globe article, and this whole situation is astounding to me. It shouldn't be surprising, but it's just the level of corruption and the underhanded stuff that Gavin Newsom and everybody else in the California government does, with the money laundering schemes like the high-speed rail and the homeless industrial complex. Well, many of you guys heard that he bought a home up in the Napa area maybe a year ago, something like that, for like $9.1 million cash. Well, Gavin didn't buy it. Gavin didn't buy it with his own money. An LLC bought it and gifted it to Gavin. Now, California Globe decided to dig into this a little bit and look at the LLC. So we'll go ahead and just read this whole article. It's not too long, so we'll just go through it here. So the California Globe says, and this is from Katie Grimes. If you guys don't follow her, she's on X. She's fantastic, awesome journalist, one of the only journalists, and Ashley Zavala, that actually investigate this stuff and hold Gavin Newsom to account. So Katie Grimes writes, who is behind the LLC which purchased Gavin Newsom's home, Gavin Newsom's $9.1 million home in Marin? Public servant Gavin Newsom's rise in California politics and acquired power since 1990s has been through knavery of family and influential friends. If you ever doubted the politics is made up of elite class who see themselves as the ruling class but want taxpayers to pay for everything, doubt no more. Gavin Newsom and the First Panther, his wife, acquired a $9.1 million home in Marin. I reported in November of 2024, it's time to revisit the issue because we still don't have any answers on his home acquisition or the $3.7 million Fair Oaks home, also purchased from the 2018 to 2019 by another LLC. Did the Newsoms buy this home? How did they buy it? Did they buy it for them? Who? The Marin Mansion is a 5,600 square foot, with Newsom paying 7% above the asking price. Reports reveal that Newsom acquired the home through MHBD Farms, LLC, and an entity formed just 2 days before the transaction, a spokesperson told the San Francisco Chronicle. The family continues to split their time between Sacramento and Marin, according to the Daily Mail. The governor plans to keep his $3.7 million home in Sacramento. So 2 days before. So this LLC buys the home. Gavin doesn't buy it. The LLC does. The LLC named MHBD Farms, which is significant, and we'll see why later. But they bought it, and this LLC was a limited liability corporation, was formed 2 days before they purchased the home. So, I mean, where did they get that money if they only were created 2 days before and just came up with $9.1 million? Keep going. Gavin Newsom's house from Pritzker registers it as farm to avoid taxes. So that's why they able to MHBD farms to avoid taxes. This is the $9.1 million mansion that California Governor Gavin Newsom just purchased in Marin County. I did some digging into the entity that purchased the home, and the home was purchased by MHBD Farms LLC on 11/14. That's the entities used by Gavin Newsom that's named after his kids. He tried covering that up because the entity was created on 11/12/2024 via a registered agent. Why did Newsom pop up a new entity 2 days before he purchased the $9.1 million home? Gavin's kids are named Montana, Hunter, Brooklyn, and Dutch, hence the LLC being named MHBD. The home was previously owned by Zulu Properties, which is owned by Daniel Pritzker of the Pritzker family. You guys know the Pritzker family? If you're a Californian. It is worth noting that the Pritzker family were Gavin Newsom's first donors when he began his political career. One of the economists on the thread pointed to the obvious. There are no farms in Marin County. The Secretary of State has this on MHBD Farms LLC. And this, Jennifer Sybil Newsom, the first Panther, is the new manager of the LLC, as this document was filed last May 15th, 2025. So this is the document here, and I don't see where it shows Sybil Newsom as the manager, but we'll keep moving. Do you know how much income it takes to purchase a $9 million home unless purchased for cash? You would need to make an annual income of $2 million to qualify for a $9 million home if purchased on a 30-year mortgage. The monthly payments would be $56,464 each month. That is freaking bonkers at current interest rates. But if you bought it for cash, it is likely you are either a rock star, professional athlete, or a very successful hedge fund manager, or movie producer or drug dealer, and not a public servant politician. The governor earns $203,939.40 from the California government and receives $95,000 approximately in benefits. Transparent California reports. Newsom has held public office since 1996 when San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown appointed him to be the city's Parking and Traffic Commission. 28 years. Newsom has been a public servant. The annual property tax on the Marin property is over $117,000 a year, approximately 1% of the total property value. But that property doesn't matter to Newsom. As Jennifer Van Laar reported in 2020, Newsom had chronically delinquent property taxes in both Marin and Sacramento counties. So the governor of California isn't paying his property taxes. Amazing. Newsom's delinquent on more than $20,000 in property taxes from his Kentfield estate, which was last listed at $5.9 million, according to the Marin County Department of Finance's website. So again, this is a public servant. He owns one $9.1 million home and another $5.9 million home. Freaking amazing. Threats of hefty penalties for late property tax payments are for hoi polloi, lower class proletariat common folk. This truly is deja vu because in 2018 to 2019, an LLC registered to Newsom's cousin, business partner, and co-president of Plumpjack, that's his winery, his wine company, Jeremy Schreier, paid $3.7 million cash for the Fair Oaks estate. December 18th, in October 2019, the LLC gifted the home to Newsom free and clear, claiming Newsom was a member of the LLC to avoid the $4,000 transfer tax. It's $4,000. So, like, just to avoid the $4,000 tax, he said Gavin's a member. It's so freaking shady. None of us lowly working folk would be able to get away with any of these schemes. Okay. Stunning that this was done under the nose of California's Fair Political Practices Commission, who regularly investigates and fines politicians for ethics and campaign violations, and whose mission says it regulates campaign financing, conflicts of interest, lobbying, and governmental ethics. The commission's objectives are to ensure that public officials act in a fair and unbiased manner in the governmental decision-making process, to promote transparency in government, and to foster public trust in the political system. Except for Democrat politicians, ? California desperately needs a Doge and to start doging at the top with the Newsoms. I 100% agree there. Is it any wonder why Newsom is under such criticism for running in elite circles? He doesn't care. He and the first Panther moved into the Marin estate and live a lifestyle to which they have become accustomed and entitled. As the Globe reported at the same time in 2020, in the midst of the COVID flu, about Newsom, Americans' political elite who deem themselves royalty and live accordingly are the same politicians who have been keeping their citizens in states under total lockdown for the purposes of destroying the economy. They mandate the wearing of face masks, which they do not wear. They prohibit travel to second homes and family cabins while traveling themselves, are keeping schools locked down, and attend funerals while our dead cannot be mourned in a service. And they are thwarting the use of hydroxychloroquine, all a known prophylactis to coronavirus and successful cure, all to try and force President Trump out of office one way or the other. The Newsoms will retain the $6 million 6-bedroom Fair Oaks home at $3.7 million, where he will spend several nights a week with his wife, Jennifer Sybil Newsom, the Newsmax reported. So the Newsoms now have 2 multi-million-dollar homes, which appear to not actually belong to them. And if they don't, who owns them? Who is investigating so heavily in Gavin Newsom? Who is providing the lifestyle for the rich and famous to the Newsoms? And what do they expect in return? This is one way to make investments, campaign contributions, to a future presidential candidate. Since Newsom's new $9 million pad was purchased through another limited liability corporation, he never has to dirty his hands on a real estate deal other than to borrow from it, as they did in January 2020 when the Newsoms received $2.7 million tax-free cash out of refinance. They refinanced the home. Oh my God, that was gifted to them. This is the California governor who believes he is entitled to the United States presidency, but he's not just another privileged San Francisco Bay Area elite who inherited a California paradise and turned it into a purgatory, says Victor Davis Hanson. So that's it. That's Gavin Newsom in a nutshell. That's how corrupt this guy is. That's how corrupt all of them are. The Pelosi's, the Feinsteins, before Diane passed away. I'm going to do a deep dive episode at some point into the 4 controlling families of California and explain how California is much more of a this isn't a democracy. This is like I don't know what's the word. What's a word when it's ruled by nepotism? It's the same families that are always controlling the state all the time. If you guys got a word, I'm blanking on the word right now, but that's how California's run. It's people aren't elected; they're selected, and everybody should know that by now. It's all fake and gay, all of it. Mail-in ballots, no requirement for ID. Got a month to count the ballots. It's all fake. It's all fraudulent, all of it. All right, let's keep going here because on Tuesday, oligarch, thank you, Wally World. God, yeah, that's what was what's on the tip of my brain. California is run by oligarchs, and it's funny because they're the same people that call Elon Musk and other people that contributed to Trump oligarchs. Even though I'm not necessarily disagreeing with that. There are tech oligarchs sort of rolling the world, but we'll keep going here. So as many of you guys know, we've got this new gas tax rolling out on Tuesday, July 1st, that nobody voted for, even though somebody was trolling me in the comments trying to say that Californians overwhelmingly voted for the gas tax. When they passed a bill back in 2018, it was a ballot proposition, actually. It wasn't a bill, where it was sold to California voters as we need more money to fix the roads. That's how it was sold to Californians. It was called something Roads Act. That's what this ballot proposition was for. And, since people don't actually read what ballot propositions do, what the text actually spells out, it was a gas tax that was sold to people to fix the roads. And what did they do? They raised the gas. They added gas taxes. They didn't fix the roads. Our roads are still garbage. And then they took what used to be a carpool lane where you only needed 2 people or more to drive in it, and they turned it into a toll lane. where now you have to pay to drive in it. Doesn't matter how many passengers you have to pay to use the lane. Yeah. So only us plebs that can't afford to pay, and it's not cheap either. It's probably like $25 each direction if you're driving from San Jose to San Francisco. So $50 a day to use that lane, where before, if you just had a passenger, you could use that lane. That's what they use the money to create, because that infrastructure cost probably billions of dollars, at least the high 100 millions. I mean, you got to put like a camera and a device that reads how many passengers are in your car, a scanner for your fast track device so it can deduct money from your fast track. And it's another way just to track people. Another thing, forcing you to have a device in your car that allows them to track it. That's how they use the money. That's what people were duped into voting for. But this next gas tax is supposed to go into effect on Tuesday, July 1st. This was just voted on by the California legislature. California State Assembly. It was just like, yeah, here's another 65 cents. That's what I'm hearing. So you guys can see this picture here. This was taken yesterday. This is in Scotts Valley, California, and it's a 76 station. There's a Shell station right across the street. It's $5.39 a gallon. Now, granted, down the street, there is like a cheaper gas station, some like knockoff gas station, and it was like $4.80 a gallon, which is still insane. And, you know, so yes, these are the more expensive gas stations, but that's not the point. I mean, if these are the only gas stations on, like in Los Gatos, there's two gas stations right across from each other, a Chevron and an Arco, and they're both right in this price range. It's insane. Wally World, you paid $2.87 a gallon. Yeah, that's like $2.87 a gallon. That's almost just what California charges in taxes. That right there. It's freaking insane. So I posted this picture, and this is before the gas taxes go into effect. These are the existing gas taxes that are currently in effect. As many of you know, refineries are shutting down, and we could lose like 20% of our refining capacity if the Benicia plant shuts down. So that's going to spike gas prices already. We already have all of these clean air initiatives that requires oil refineries in California to provide a special blend for California, because, you know, we're solving the climate crisis 1 gallon at a time. So that makes gas more expensive. They need to do extra steps in the refining process in order to create this special blend for California. Then you have the gas taxes on top of it. And now you got a refinery that's likely to shut down. I believe it is going to shut down, which is going to reduce our capacity by 20%. So like, speculation is that gas prices by 2026 would be up around $8 a gallon. That's really what's going on. Meanwhile, in the rest of the country, everybody's gas prices are going down. This shit is insane. This shit is bonkers. So it's frustrating, because you inevitably get the sycophants, the people that just love California government. They're just like, yeah, regulate me harder, daddy. And they'll stick up for the California government all day, every day. And this was probably the most triggering comment I've ever received. And he deleted it, but not before I took a screenshot of it. He probably deleted it because I reposted him, put him on blast, and just everybody started ripping him to shreds. But this guy, Mr. Mike Presky, who is a book editor, which is funny because the first sentence in his post has like a major typo in it. But this guy had the audacity to say this to me. And if you guys are Californians, please listen to this, because this is probably the most triggering comment I ever got. And it makes me want to do things I can't say on the internet. But the way the coastal elites look on the working class while acting like they are the ones that are looking out for the working class never ceases to amaze me. They actually hate you. They actually hate the working class. They have completely hollowed out the middle class, and they want a serf class. They want two. They don't want a middle class here. They want two different classes. They want the uber super wealthy, and then they want the serf class to do all the jobs they don't want to do. You know, who's gonna pick our vegetables? You know, all that same trope that you get, the super racist trope that you get from radical progressives. Anyway, this is what Mr. Mike Presky had to say. If gas this price, that's how he started this off. This guy's a book editor. If gas this price seems expensive to you, then you have no business being in California. California is not a cheap state, and it's not for poor people. It's a state for the comfortably well-off middle class and for the rich. If you need to worry about the price of gas, then you don't make enough money to afford California, and you should leave because you're a burden on the rest of us who live here. I know a lot of people have a problem accepting that California is only for the rich now, but that's the way it is. We don't want or need poor people and are getting awfully tired of their constant complaining and caterwauling about the prices of things. Please do us all a favor and move to a state where you can afford to live. That's what they think of you. That's what these coastal elites think of you. People that do your electrical, people that do your drywall, people that do your carpentry work, people that mow your lawns, people that keep your internet connected, people that, I'm not going to say linemen because linemen make a lot of money, but you get my point. A lot of people that are tradesmen, that work retail, work at grocery stores, all these people, according to this guy, he doesn't want those people here. I apologize. My neighbor just started doing something really loud. I hope you guys can't hear that. You probably can. Oh my God, that's incredibly loud. I apologize, guys. So yeah, that's Mr. Mike Presky. That's what they think of you. And it's not surprising because that's how the coastal elites are. Oh my God. The loudest noise just started happening, like somebody's planing wood. Like, okay, that's unbelievably loud, and I hope it stops really soon because it's driving me insane. Oh my God. I need to get a studio that's not here because this is just insane. All right, let's go over to Carl DeMaio here. Hopefully, Wally, can you hear that? Is it super loud? Northside, nice to see you. Battle stations, we need to cut loose logs to build trenches. Yeah, no kidding. Can you guys hear that? Is it insanely loud on your end? If it's not, and then hopefully it's only bugging me. Let me know if that's insanely loud, like a high-pitched noise. Oh my God. It was quiet all day. It's not bad? Okay, well, it's driving me insane, frankly. All right, let's go over to Carl DeMaio. So Carl DeMaio says, breaking, California should brace for more than $8 per gallon of gas. I just left a closed-door briefing for legislators where we told the California oil industry is on the brink of collapse and there is pending a pipeline shutdown. Result is $10 to $12 per gallon and gas rationing. So Carl DeMaio says that something very, very bad is about to happen. Again, I'll read it again. California oil industry is on the brink of collapse and there is a pending pipeline shutdown. Result, $10 to $12 a gallon and gas rationing. They had that back in the 70s. I wasn't alive yet, but apparently they based it on the year you were born or like the last few digits of your social security number on what days you were allowed to buy gas. So sounds like a leaf blower, Terry Wallace. I don't know what it is. He's doing it's some sort of woodworking tool and it's insanely loud. It sounds like he's planing wood to me. It's freaking loud as shit. That's bothering me very much so. Okay, seems like he's stopping, but it's probably gonna get super loud again. All right, so that's what Carl DeMaio had to say, that something very bad is happening in the gas and oil industry. So what does Gavin Newsom's press office have to say that is run by that Brandon something or other? This guy, I can't stand him. Oh, there it goes again. Yep, really loud again. All right, so Gavin Newsom's press office says, Carl, stop getting, oh my God. I'm sorry, you guys. Carl, stop getting your briefings from the bathroom mirror. There is no $8 gas spike coming because of state policies. Real economists say it's false, but you and your GOP allies keep repeating it like it's a fact. Your constituents deserve the truth. I forgot to share the tab. So that's what Gavin Newsom's press office says. Again, like they act like nothing's happening. And you guys, remember, this is already happening. These gas prices are already happening. For regular, $5.39 a gallon in Scotts Valley, California, yesterday. This is before any sort of gas tax goes into effect, any new gas tax goes into effect. So if it's 65 cents, I mean, we're looking at over $6 a gallon already at many gas stations. Yes, it's cheaper at lots of places throughout California. Some people are even saying it's as low as $4 a gallon, which is still insanely high. Like Wally World said earlier, he paid, what was it, $2 and something? $2.87 a gallon in New Orleans. So, I mean, $4 a gallon is expensive already. And that's like the cheapest you're going to find it in California. It's insane. Just like my neighbor using that super loud tool. I got my windows shut too, and it's hot as shit. It's so freaking annoying. It's Sunday at 6:40 in the evening. Like, why? Why do you got to do that right now? All day it was quiet. And then I start streaming and they decided to start doing super loud woodworking. That's cool. Okay. We'll keep going. So this is more about the gas prices. This is from Wall Street Apes. He says, wow, California Governor Gavin Newsom is a literal tyrant. Newsom has extreme carbon neutral climate goals. He just passed CARB, which will raise the price of gas 65 cents just to disincentivize people from having gas-powered vehicles. Northside, we need the edges of the trenches to be flat, coach. I don't even know what you're getting at there. Northside, sounds like you live in a socialist country. We do. We 100% do. California is a socialist state. I mean, they give illegal. We have Medi-Cal. Oh my God, it's so loud. We have Medi-Cal in California, which is California's like Medicare, and illegal immigrants currently get it for free. Like, really think about that. California taxpayer dollars are going to give health care to illegal immigrants for free. It's a socialist country. It's 100% a socialist country, California. It's insane. All right, let's watch this clip here. This is I'm gonna play this clip and then mute myself so you guys can hear it clearly. Jesus, I can't believe, like, even for a couple of minutes, it's bad, but this has been like 5 minutes that he's been doing this so far. It's probably going to be for the rest of my stream too. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to cut the stream short if it keeps going. And then I'm going to go yell at my neighbor and tell him what a dick he is.
Your gas prices are about to raise by 65 cents. Last night, CARB, which is the California Air Resources Board in California, just voted 12-2 to raise gas prices by up to 65 cents in order to disincentivize people from having gas vehicles in order to meet the state's requirements and what Governor Newsom wants for his carbon neutral initiatives. Now, this is a non-elected body. They are appointed by the governor, voted on this last night. And I honestly think that people were going to be distracted with the election. The national average of gas prices is about $4, and this would make gas go up to $7 a gallon. This happened last night. I don't know when this is going to roll out, but it's looking like up to 65 cents of an increase without you being aware or even voting on it. Your gas prices are about to raise by 65 cents.
I was hoping he'd stop by the end of this video, but he's still going. He's still going, you guys. Unbelievable. Northside is 6:40 on Sunday. What is the guy doing? I don't know. Driving me insane is what he's doing. And I'm like, I can't, like, what am I supposed to do? Go over there and yell at him? It's just so frustrating. Always. This is the same neighbor whose dog joined me for a run yesterday. That just, don't get me started. Don't get me started, you guys. All right, let's keep going. So that's enough about the gas taxes. So, like, a lot of this stuff is the California Air Resources Board, the green energy initiatives. Remember, Gavin Newsom outlawed by edict, by just declaring it, that new gas-powered vehicles are going to be illegal to sell in California after 2030, or was it 2035? I think it's 2035. Gavin Newsom just put the kibosh on that. Thanks to Kevin Kiley. That was his bill introduced. So that they got rid of that. So that's a good thing. That's actually, me and my buddy Eric have been talking about, like, what are the good things that Trump's done so far? Like, because I'm sorry, but I've been disappointed in Trump so far. He secured the border. That's a good thing. I forgot that he that this administration ended Gavin Newsom's ban on sales of gas-powered vehicles after 2035. So that is a good thing too. And it may seem that I'm like a Trump hater and I like bitch about Trump a lot. I believe that the people you vote for should be held to a higher standard than the people that you didn't vote for. And it always seems to me that on the left and on the right, no matter who you vote for, whoever voted for the person will refuse to look at the bad things they do, and they'll even defend the bad things that they do. So like I got all sorts of issues with particular things that Trump's doing, particularly in regard to speech, some other things that I'll save for another episode. But this was one of the good things that he did, putting the kibosh on the gas-powered vehicles being sold in California after 2035. So there's just a random clip I pulled up from Amy Reichert, who is out in San Diego in the gas lamp district, just showing like some of the madness that is going on California streets. And a lot of it is, again, it's like these illegal street vendors. And over in Santa Monica, they, for some reason, are like, we should allow drinking to like 4 a.m. now. Like, that's what we should do. So I think like that's what they're doing over in Santa Monica. I'll have to look into it more. But in San Diego, in the gas lamp district, it is a pretty interesting scene over there. So let's just watch this quick clip and then I'll comment on it. So you see this hot dog vendor? So you'll see these red carts. You'll see these in like every city. You see them in Santa Cruz, you see them in San Francisco, you see them in LA, you see them in Sacramento. Oftentimes around sporting events or in the downtown areas where the nightlife is lively, you'll see these illegal street vendors that are selling hot dogs and bacon wrapped hot dogs and all sorts of stuff. Good food, don't get me wrong. I mean, stuff looks delicious, but they're often set up right out in front of restaurants that have to go through inspections with the food regulators, the restaurant food regulators and all that kind of stuff. They got to pay extra taxes. They got to pay extremely high rents, all these different California policies that make running a restaurant in California super expensive. And now illegal immigrants come here and they get these food carts. And, I'm not a huge fan of like over regulation of the food industry as it is, but the point is these food carts, they don't have to pay taxes. They don't have to pay any overhead whatsoever. They have a huge advantage over these restaurant owners, and they're like poaching their business by setting up right out in front of restaurants. It's ridiculous. It's insane. It bothers me. You'll see them all over the place. There's one, there's another one right across the way. And look, they're right out in front of the Tipsy Crow, which it looks like a bar, but I imagine they sell food.
What the fuck is going on here?
Another one.
You gonna make it, dude?
Another one. So that was the main reason I wanted to show you that is the illegal food cart vendors. I mean, a lot of people I don't mind food carts. I don't mind that they're selling food. It's the fact that they don't have to abide by the same rules and regulations that these restaurant owners do, or even people that buy like a food truck that has to deal with the same California regulations. I'm not promoting the regulations. In fact, I think the regulations should go away. If you sell bad food to somebody and somebody gets sick, they should be able to sue you. I don't see why the government has to get involved with that crap. But all like restaurants should be able to go by the same policies that the same restrictions that these food cart vendors have, which is none. They have no restrictions whatsoever. They can sell you old food. They can sell you food that's not kept at the proper temperature. Like, who's checking the temperature of the little refrigerator at the bottom of their carts? Like, nobody. That's all. And I don't care. I don't care that they're not checking that. Well, the only thing I care about is that they don't have to do the same things as the people that have legit food businesses, and they're poaching business from those businesses. All right, we'll keep going here. So this is a little closer to home here. This is about Santa Clara County, where I grew up, born and raised in Santa Clara County, San Jose. And this is much like San Francisco, and I mean, really all cities in California. This is about the homeless industrial complex. This is from Wall Street Apes. He says Santa Clara County spent $440 million in a single year fighting homelessness. The result? A new head count shows more people on the streets than ever before, despite hundreds of millions of dollars going into funding homeless solutions. New numbers show that the unhoused population in Santa Clara County is growing. All right, so let's watch this clip. This is from NBC Bay Area, and we'll just show that throwing money at the homeless problem isn't the solution, because often that money is laundered and put back into the pockets of the NGOs that are taking all of the money. And again, if you got a non-governmental organization that receives taxpayer funding from the government, and the whole point of your organization's existence is to fix the homeless problem. Well, if you fix the homeless problem, there is then no justification for your organization to exist. So what incentive do you have to fix the homeless problem? None. If anything, you have an incentive to make the homeless problem worse. Look, the homeless problem got worse. Please give us more money so we can address the homeless problem that we never intend to fix. In fact, we intend to make it worse so we can ask you for more money. That's how this whole thing goes.
More people on the streets than ever before. That is according to a new head count of unhoused people in Santa Clara County. Local leaders say they've been throwing piles of money at the problem to create more emergency housing. But the question is, why haven't those efforts and the cash solved the issue? Here's NBC Bay Area's investigative reporter, Hilda Gutierrez.
Despite hundreds of millions of dollars going into funding homelessness solutions, new numbers show the unhoused population in Santa Clara County is growing by 8.2% to be exact, according to preliminary results for the 2025 point-in-time count. From 9,900 in 2023 to 10,700 people in 2025, an additional 800 individuals without a home.
More people are entering homelessness than exiting homelessness across the region.
That's the...
Oh, listen to what this chick says here, too, because it's like the most triggering thing. I mean, making an assessment based purely on her looks. Would you guys say that she's a Trump voter? Would you guys say that she's probably a Democrat or a radical California Democrat? I'm just going to point to the haircut, just the haircut here. What assessments would you make about her political affiliation based purely on this haircut? I know what I would guess. What do you guys think?
Simple answer, says KJ Kaminsky from the county's Office of Supportive Housing. With over $440 million in funding for the 2024-2025 fiscal year, Kaminsky says the county has tried to find solutions to the growing problem.
We've housed over 8,000 people since the last count in 2023. However, more people entered homelessness for the first time during that same period.
She says the numbers are not adding up because for every household they put under a roof, 1.8 become homeless. Recently, San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan told NBC Bay Area the strategy includes more beds. There are currently about 3,700 temporary ones.
The city is adding over 1,000 new safe places for people to be this year, mostly converted motels and new modular units. Beyond that, hundreds of additional affordable housing units. We need to bring everyone indoors.
So I 100% disagree with him on that, but Matt Mahan is actually one of the better Democrats in California. So I will say that. But there's like this fundamental truth that is completely false, that all of these Democrats always say as a talking point. They parrot the same thing, and she's going to say it in a minute here. And it's insanely frustrating because it makes no sense and it's just not true. Well, she says it in a minute here.
Santa Clara County's community plan to end homelessness set a goal in 2020 to get 20,000 people housed by this year. According to the reports, they're close, housing 18,000 so far. But Kaminsky says the root problem of homelessness comes down to systemic factors, like not enough affordable housing.
We know that housing is what ends homelessness for folks. And
there it is. We know that housing is what ends homelessness. Like, think about how dumb what she just said is. Well, if they had a house, they wouldn't be homeless. Well, no shit. No shit, lady. So what are you saying? What is your solution here? Is your solution that the government needs to take taxpayer dollars, build a bunch of houses, and then just throw homeless people in them with no restrictions whatsoever? Here's your new house that cost $1.8 million to build. Here's your new apartment. Go in there. Keep shooting up your fentanyl. In fact, we'll have these NGOs deliver your crack pipes and your hypodermic needles right to your door. Just keep doing it. We just need to give them housing is the talking point that all of these radical progressives keep coming back to. We just need to give them housing. When taxing Californians and the government building housing isn't going to drop the overall housing price in California. It's insane. The housing issue and the homeless issue are separate problems. And I'm sick of them being conflated as the same issue. Because a homeless person, even if the housing market in California came down by 40%, homeless people still aren't going to be able to afford housing. What are you talking about? Like, what is this? We're not talking about jobs programs. We're not talking about getting people clean, getting them off drugs, and addressing the actual issues of why people are homeless in the first place. Oh, hey, this person's completely addicted to drugs and they can't hold down a steady job. Maybe we should address that instead of, you know what? We need to have the government build a 10-story high-rise with 130 units in it that cost $1.8 million each unit. And let's put a coffee shop in there. Let's put a tennis court. Like, these are the solutions that these fucking morons come up with, and it's driving me batshit crazy. I'm just some lowly tradesman, and I can see right through all this bullshit. For some reason, these highly educated liberal idiots can't, and it drives me fucking nuts.
We measure our progress on how we are doing in terms of helping people move from homelessness into housing and their housing stability.
The point-in-time data is used for federal funding allocation and for national estimates of homelessness. The county is expected to release a full report that will include a demographic breakdown later this summer. In San Jose, I'm Hilda Gutierrez, NBC Bay Area News.
Thanks, Hilda. All we need is more housing, guys. That's all we need. Yeah, we need more housing. We need the government to stop over-regulating builders and housing, making it impossible to get a housing permit and regulating what wall materials they use and what type of insulation they use and what type of windows they use so they don't let in any air. The government is what makes building a house in the first place so freaking expensive. It's insane. I should be able to, as a private citizen, go buy some land that's for sale and build a house to very general standards. That, like, not, oh, you got to use this polypropylene bullshit on the exterior of our walls and these specific windows. Like, no, I should be able to go to a secondhand store and find some windows, find some doors, and then build my house around the shit that I've hodgepodged together on a tiny budget and live in a freaking camper while I build the home after work every day and on the weekends. That's my dream. That's the American dream, is being able to afford to buy a plot of land, have a septic system hooked up to it, have power run into it, or even generate your own power, be completely off grid, build a home with your own bare hands. Like, that's the American dream to me, but California won't let that shit happen. It drives me fucking insane. Okay, sorry, enough of that rant. So changing gears a little bit. We'll go over to let's talk about the trans agenda now. Huh? Let's talk about men and women's sports and in women's bathrooms and in women's saunas. And let's talk about how the feminist movement has come full circle to creating safe spaces for women, to allowing those safe spaces to be invaded by men. What is that? The fourth wave feminism? Is that what it is? Yes, I'm blaming the trans agenda on feminism. That's 100%. 100%. I blame the absolute lunacy that is allowed to take place with the trans agenda. I'm blaming that on feminism. 100%. So let's see what Kevin Kiley has to say, because Trump is going to war with Gavin about the whole trans issue. And when I say the trans issue, I'm primarily talking about men competing against women in sports. And it's funny because the only people that are for this non-shit are the least athletic people you've ever met in your entire life that never played a sport. And they do not understand that there is huge physical differences between men and women. I'm 6'6", 240. I probably still have some college eligibility left in junior college. I played 2 years of college of middle school basketball. I could probably go back to college, join the women's basketball team, and just absolutely dominate these chicks in the paint. I could absolutely do it. I can still dunk, man. I should just do it. Just like grow my hair long and say I'm a chick now and go back to college and dominate. I'd probably make a bunch of money if I did it too, just to like show the insane system that we have now. Sorry, let's listen to Kevin Kiley talk about this.
To say that we're going to deprive, young women and female athletes of the opportunity to compete under a fair set of parameters, I don't think that's right.
Congressman Kevin Kiley, who serves California's 3rd Congressional District in Central California, wrote a letter to the California Interscholastic Federation in March, calling for an immediate reversal of the policy. Now he's asking California to comply with the department's conditions to avoid losing federal funding.
To prevent this loss of funding, all the state has to do is do the right thing, is to restore fairness, to protect the integrity of female athletics.
NBC7 reached out to the California Department of Education. They said, quote, the California Department of Education believes all students should have the opportunity to learn and play at school, and we have consistently applied an existing law in support of students' rights to do so. This all started after the federal officials opened an investigation into the CIF in February, after the organization said it would allow athletes to compete on teams according with their gender identity. 2 months later, it opened an investigation into the California Department of Education over the same issue. We did reach out to the CIF and a spokesperson about the action from the Department of Education, and they said the CIF does not comment on legal matters. Jeanette Quesada, NBC7.
All right, let's keep going here because I got a little bit more on this. So this is from ABC7 Eyewitness News, and the title here is California violated title. I'm not good with Roman numerals. Is that 15? Title 15? Is that what it is? Sorry, guys. Or is that title 6? I'm not sure. California violated title whatever over transgender athletes, the U.S. Education Department says. So let's watch this video from Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Word from Governor Gavin Newsom after the Trump administration says California violated Title IX. The feds say the state...
Title IX? I was way off. Oh, X is 10, and then the 1 in front of it means like -1. Okay, I get it. Sorry, I'm retarded.
Breached the civil rights of female students by allowing transgender athletes to compete in school sports. Inland Empire Bureau Chief Rob McMillan is in Jurupa Valley with the story.
The battle over whether transgender athletes can compete in sex-segregated sports now at the federal level. The issue coming to a head and gaining national attention when Jurupa Valley High School student A.B. Hernandez, who is transgender, won gold at CIF state finals earlier this month. But the U.S. Department of Education says that California's policies violate Title IX, which is a federal law that prohibits discrimination in sex-segregated sports that receive federal funding. The Secretary of Education saying on Fox News this morning that the state of California has 10 days to agree to make changes to their policies, or the case will be handed over to the Department of Justice.
They really need to send a letter of apology to all of the participants, female participants in sports. They need to return the titles that were taken away from these women who competed and lost to male in the sports. And they just have to make it right to those women competitors.
The CIF trying to find middle ground in this controversial issue by changing the rules days before the event to allow girls.
That's just a gay dude. That's not a woman. That's just a gay dude. You can clearly tell.
Who may have been bumped off the podium because of A.B. Hernandez's participation to get medals anyway. Consequently, 3 girls shared first place at the CIF finals in Clovis. But supporters of what the Trump administration is now doing say that's not good enough.
We also spoke with Equality California today.
Again, this isn't about fairness in sports, and it's never been. And when we're seeing the Trump administration or others in his cabinet launch these attacks against transgender kids like A.B. Hernandez, it's putting a target on them for bullying, for harassment, for intimidation in school and online.
Okay, he comes out the gate with "this isn't about fairness in sports," and then follows that up with nothing. How is it not? Yes, it's not only about that. It's also about safety of women in sports. Right now, we're talking about track and field. What about boxing? I mean, we already had the incident in the Olympics, and that I think that's actually a somebody that was born with both genitalia. But you get the point. What happens when a male player wants to play lacrosse, women's lacrosse? You guys know how brutal lacrosse is? Or water polo, same thing. Water polo is extremely physical. Or wrestling. What happens when a male wants to? It's a bone density issue. It's a muscle mass and quick twitch fiber issue. This is a safety issue, not only a fairness issue, but a safety issue. And that's just talking about on the actual field of play. What about in the locker rooms when women are forced to change in front of biological men? How is that safe for women? How is that fair to women at all? So you're going to come out of the gate and say this isn't about fairness to women. How? Explain how. This isn't about fairness to women. Everything that I just addressed is about fairness to women. I am the farthest thing from a freaking feminist. I can't stand feminists. They drive me freaking insane. And you're making me bring up feminist points. And frankly, bothers me. I don't want to be arguing these points, but I have to, because the feminists are now the ones that are the enemies of women against the enemies of fair play in women's sports. It's freaking insane. This thing's come full circle. Feminism is a freaking cancer.
Governor Gavin Newsom responding to today's news by issuing this statement, quote, "It wouldn't be a day ending in Y without the Trump administration threatening to defund California." Now, Secretary McMahon is confusing government with her WrestleMania days, dramatic, fake, and completely divorced from reality.
Dramatic, fake, and completely divorced from reality. Are you talking about men dressing up as women? Because that's what that describes to me.
Well, happening now.
All right, enough of that. Dramatic, fake, and completely devoid from reality. That's a dude that thinks he's a woman. That's what you're describing there. So we'll keep going here. I think my phone's about to ring. It made that noise. Never mind. All right, keep going. So, okay, this is changing gears again. Now we're going back into the illegal immigrant stuff and sanctuary state stuff. So this is kind of insane. So this is I don't even know where this is. Vice Mayor of Cudahy. Where's Cudahy? You guys, Californians in the chat, let me know. I don't know where Cudahy is. Hasn't responded to our questions. Federal officers are investigating a video where she tells gang members to defend their territory from ICE agents. This really happened. This lady really came out and said this. So let's listen to her unhinged rant that she goes on here.
Whoever's the leadership over there, just get your members in order.
An explosive TikTok video now the center of a possible FBI investigation in LA County.
Don't be trying to claim no block, no nothing if you're not showing up right now.
For about 90 seconds, City of Cudahy Vice Mayor Cynthia Gonzalez calls on gang members to defend their territory from ICE.
You guys are all about territory, and this is 18th Street, and this is Torrance, and you guys tag everything up, claiming hood. And now that your hood's being invaded by the biggest gang there is, there ain't a peep out of you.
The controversial video was shared last week and has since been deleted, along with these Facebook posts obtained by Fox before they were also taken.
So let's read her Facebook post. Does anybody know any lawyers that work for the ACLU? I am working with a lawyer currently, but I also believe this is a First Amendment rights issue and want to get support from as many folks as possible. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that post. I need a lawyer. The FBI just came to my house. If anyone wants to support, please DM. Oh, never mind. She's saying that she shouldn't, that it's a First Amendment issue, that she should be able to she should be able to tell gang members to go to war with ICE. That's a First Amendment issue. Okay. I need a lawyer. The FBI just came to my house. Anyone wants to support, please DM me. Okay.
Taken down. The vice mayor writing, I need a lawyer. The FBI just came to my house, saying it was about a TikTok video that I made that went viral, literally a TikTok, adding she believes this is a First Amendment rights issue.
And they're using our brown bodies to avoid the conversation that this administration is a failure.
Gonzalez seen earlier this month at a press conference with LA area mayors.
She's a personal friend. I know her, and I know that she wouldn't call for violence.
Nearby.
Yeah, but she did. She kind of did do that.
By Huntington Park, Mayor Arturo Flores condemns Gonzalez's video.
Words are important, and so you have to be very careful about what you say and how you say it.
While now urging local police to verify identities of those believed to be federal agents.
So now am I able to operate with impunity? Am I able to tackle you right now?
Telling officers to pull over those without license plates for possible immigration operations.
If a caravan's coming in to our community, 4 or 5 vehicles, what I expect is for a vetting to happen of who those individuals are.
We're out there like fighting our turf, protecting our turf, protecting our people. And like, where you at?
The vice mayor not returning our calls, but a spokesperson from the city of Cudahy shared this written statement with Fox 11, saying they're aware of recent comments made by Vice Mayor Cynthia Gonzalez on social media.
So now, to like put this in perspective, if you held her by the same standard that Trump was impeached on for saying fight peacefully, march peacefully and patriotically to the Capitol, remember that? Remember how they impeached Trump for inciting an insurrection? Use that same criteria and apply it to her, telling gang members to protect their turf against ICE agents. Which do you think is more inflammatory?
Comments made by the vice mayor reflect her personal views and do not represent the views or official position of the city of Cudahy. We reached out to every single council member here. All we got back was that one written statement. Reporting live tonight, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
Where the hell is Cudahy? Like, I've never even heard of Cudahy. I used to live in Southern California. I've never even heard of Cudahy. All right, so this is in response to that. So the Los Angeles Police Protective League is demanding the resignation of Cudahy Vice President Cynthia Gonzalez after the video advocated for violent street gangs to confront peace officers. So they're actually calling for her resignation. We'll see if anything comes of it. I doubt it. I'm sure it will just blow over. Nothing will happen. But again, if you held her to the same standards that you held Donald Trump when he incited an insurrection, there would be a massive investigation and this would be wall-to-wall news coverage. But, you know, it's not going to happen. All right, keep going in the same vein. So this is like some activist, and he's talking about awaking the sleeping giant. So we'll see. You guys perceive this as a threat. Let's listen to this guy talk here.
We're afraid of Mexicans waking up because we're the sleeping giant. So we talked about right now. We're in every corner. You can't escape them, especially.
I already have to pause him because as a Californian, I love Mexicans. My stepmom's Mexican. A ton of my friends growing up were Mexican. I played sports. Tons of my teammates were Mexican. All here legally. I love Mexican food. I could survive on Mexican food. I'm in the trades. I work with Mexicans all day long. And I mean, Mexican culture is somewhat ingrained in California culture. Mexicans have always been a part of California. And I love Mexican people like I love any other Californian that works hard, does the best to provide for their family, and likes strong community values, like any other community that has a high value system. This isn't about Mexicans. This is about illegal immigrants and sanctuary state policies. And this is about illegal immigrants coming here from anywhere, not just Mexico. This whole conflation of immigrants and illegal immigrants is retarded. It's out of control. Like, everybody can see right through this trash. And illegal immigrants hurt legal immigrants just as much, if not more, than it hurts naturally born California citizens. It's not easy to get your citizenship in America, as it shouldn't be. It should be hard. And if you go through all the steps to become a legal United States citizen and put in all that work and you come here, you're going to have a much stronger appreciation for America. And you're going to wave the American flag, and you're going to have American values, and you're going to assimilate into the culture. That's what we should be promoting. I'm not against immigration. I think it should be very hard, because then if you go through that process, you're going to be much more likely to contribute to our society. But this conflation with illegal immigration and legal immigrants it's nonsense. And everybody can see right through this garbage. And that's what this guy's trying to do here. He's trying to say, oh, you just don't like Mexicans. Bullshit. I don't like sanctuary state policies and people coming here and taking advantage of the situation.
Come to the West Coast, every restaurant you go to, your food is touched by a Mexican. Every car wash, you're going to come across Mexicans. So we're in every corner, every hotel, every restaurant, and every yard. You have to understand that. Stop allowing yourself to be lied to. Stop allowing yourself to be used. And both sides are using you. You just have to see things clearly. And when you see things clearly, you'll make the right moves naturally on your own. You're afraid of
nonsense. It's freaking nonsense. All right, let's talk a little bit about the California budget, shall we? Let me check in with the chat here. North side, this is why we need to connect the homeless problem to something lucrative like commercial fishing. I don't even get it. I don't get what you mean. Terry Wallace nailed it. I'm not sure what rant I went off on that you said I nailed it, but thank you. Wally World Swiss women's national soccer team played against the under 15 school boys team and lost 7-1. This was just the other day. Oh, really? I remember that happened a few years ago. Wasn't it like the U.S. national team that played against the 15 and under and got crushed? Yeah, that's funny. That's just funny. Yeah, I mean, 16-year-olds are 15-year-old, 16-year-old boys in any sport are going to dominate women in pretty much any sport. It's hilarious. It's just the way it is. All right, this is let's go over to KCRA, one of the better news organizations in California. Oops, I shouldn't have done that. This is where Ashley Zavala works, and she is quite awesome. She's one of the only journalists next to Katie Grimes with the California Globe that holds California policymakers to account. So let's go over to her here. All right, let me get right back to the screen I want to be in. Okay, so this is KCRA, and they're talking about the California budget. So California Governor Newsom, California lawmakers are close to reaching a budget deal. All right, let's see how they're going to waste our money this time.
Lawmakers say they are close to reaching a deal on a new spending plan. Thanks for joining us tonight at 7. I'm Curtis Ming.
And I'm Edie Lambert. The governor and Democratic budget leaders have been working to close a $12 billion budget gap. According to budget deal records that are circulating at the Capitol tonight, the total state spending plan is just over $321 billion. And there are some big headlines coming out of this. Here are just a few of them. California will continue providing health care to low-income, undocumented immigrants, but with limits. New adults will no longer be able to sign up starting next year, and those who already have it will have to pay a monthly $30 premium.
So remember, it's free right now. Healthcare to illegal immigrants is free in California right now, and it's paid for by California taxpayers. So now they're going to charge them $30 a month.
The budget includes $500 million for cities and counties to address homelessness.
Homeless industrial complex, that's another $500 million down the drain right there. Because like we just talked about in Santa Clara County, they're going to throw millions of dollars at the problem, and the homeless population is going to increase. So this will go to non-governmental organizations who hand out fentanyl needles, crack pipes, tents, all that kind of stuff. And who are, again, incentivized to make the homeless problem worse because their existence relies on there being a homeless problem. What incentive do non-governmental organizations have? What incentive do they have to fix the homeless problem? None whatsoever, because if the homeless problem was fixed, their existence would not be required anymore.
It also includes $100 million to jumpstart Proposition 36, which created a new treatment-mandated felony for repeat thieves and fentanyl dealers. They will
So that I actually agree with.
not move forward with the proposed Delta Conveyance Project, also known as the Delta Tunnel Project, that would send water from northern to southern California. And the budget increases the state's film and TV tax credit from $330 million to $750 million to keep productions in California.
Right. That's who needs the tax cut. Hollywood. So now, since Hollywood's being bled dry because of, Netflix and Amazon, and big budget motion pictures aren't being made anymore. There's a clip where Matt Damon explains why big budget motion pictures aren't being made anymore. And it's actually pretty illuminating. Like movies like Good Will Hunting, one of my favorite movies of all time. Those movies wouldn't be made anymore because it's like you see a script and you're like, can this work, or can this, or like they only go with the scripts that are much more likely to be like a blockbuster hit. People aren't taking chances on movies anymore because there's so much production value behind it. And if it flops, you're wasting tons of money. So they're just going to give Hollywood massive budget cuts.
The vote on this is set for Friday, and the new spending year starts July 1st. That is 1 week from today.
All right. So California budget cuts, or California budget is being voted on. And
Heather, there's a community in
our
Tahoe that's
California
leading the way in.
California spending is completely out of control right now. All right, let's go over to let's talk more about the healthcare for illegal immigrants. And this is also from KCRA. This is Ashley Zavala, and she is always a pleasure to listen to because she, again, actually points out the problems that are taking place in California due to California insane policies from radical progressive Democrats who hate the middle class. So let's go over to Ashley Zavala here and listen to her talk about it.
Some Democrats today began shining a light on conversations we know have been happening behind closed doors. Those talks around a proposed push that would have a new tax hike on major corporations like Walmart and Amazon. Corporations, lawmakers say, are not providing health insurance to their lowest income workers. This comes as lawmakers and the governor negotiate new limits and some cuts to the state's Medi-Cal system, which provides health care to low-income Californians regardless of immigration status. One of the state senators who brought up this tax was Democrat Caroline Menjivar. Democratic leadership actually removed her from a smaller health-related budget committee yesterday because she was prepared to vote no on those limits and cuts. Here's what she and others in favor of this possible new tax had to say.
We're subsidizing a handful of corporations, we as taxpayers. So why is it so hard for us to look at that and not tax large corporations? But it's okay and acceptable to break a promise that we made to community members.
I think we need to begin to have tough conversations about holding some of these same billionaires and some of these same corporations accountable.
So let's translate that. That is, we made a commitment to illegal immigrants to give them free health care. So since we have a massive budget shortfall, we should tax millionaires and billionaires and heads of industry. That's how we should pay for the illegal immigrants' health care. That's what she's really saying.
We are not going to continue to be able to cut our way to a balanced budget. And anybody who thinks that is absurd, we need to have a conversation around revenues.
I got an idea. Let's completely defund the high-speed rail and let's completely defund the homeless industrial complex. Those are two positive steps in that direction.
And that includes us talking about the fact that you have large corporations that are actively ensuring that their employees are not working full time so that they don't have to pay them benefits.
Okay, so you want to tax California corporations, large corporations. You want to tax them more because they already pay insane amounts of money in taxes in California. So what are you going to do if you're the head of that corporation? Well, we're going to move out of California. Look at how many businesses are fleeing California because they're already being taxed. to oblivion. So they want to do it more, ensuring large corporations leave California. These people are freaking morons.
So that they can then rely on our own Medi-Cal system.
We checked in with the Senate's Democratic and Republican leaders of the Budget Committee.
The idea of requiring those large employers to pick up the tab for their workers, which I personally think is fair and appropriate, and I think there are a number of members who support that. But
why are they saying pick up the tab for their workers? They're really talking about funding healthcare for illegal immigrants. Scott Wiener, I can't stand the sight of him. I can't stand the sound of him. And everything he says is spin gobbledygook. And that's what what are they talking about? Like, companies are already providing healthcare insurance options for their employees. So what is he really talking about here? This is about funding healthcare for illegal immigrants, and they want to increase taxes on these corporations that are already paying insane taxes. That's what they're saying. That's what they're really saying. And they're trying to conflate this issue with their workers.
that's a continuing conversation.
Okay. I'd like to have them show us what corporations are actually doing that, and to what extent there is a cost to the state because employers are not providing any benefits at all. I have doubts that that's really as big an issue as they say.
Right. Exactly. Because it's bullshit. It's bullshit what they're saying. Every full-time employee in California is offered benefits through their employer. No matter, even if you're like working for Starbucks, it's an option. It comes out of your paycheck, and they usually match. Like, every corporation in California has usually really good health insurance options. It could be pricey, but they have health insurance options. People can opt out of it and not pay for healthcare. Like, what are they're just making shit up, and they're not providing receipts for what they're saying.
Now, we've been checking in with Governor Gavin Newsom on this proposed tax hike, and we still have not heard anything from his office yet. Meanwhile, we should note there is nothing in writing, no bill, no proposed law to specifically get that tax hike in place just yet. Again, like you heard Senator Wiener say, all of that is in motion and being discussed, but nothing is set in stone. Meanwhile, the business community has said they expect this to be one of a series of proposed tax hikes that we could see within the next year.
Meaning businesses are already packing their bags, because they know that California spending is out of control, because it's not spending, it's not misallocation of funds. This is fraud. This is money laundering. And people are getting rich off the backs of working class taxpayers. And it's insane. It's insane. They won't ever cut spending. All they do is lie to increase taxes. That's all they freaking do. It's out of control. California is out of freaking control. Who said it earlier? Was it you, Northside? Just California is a socialist country. It's insane. Bob Tiergarten, nice to see you. Terry Wallace, they're talking in circles, but ultimately businesses will leave. 100%. Bob Tiergarten, none of these people cared when Obamacare made healthcare unavailable to me for about a decade. The year Obamacare was introduced, I missed open enrollment at my company. I had just started in the audio video industry. So this was back in like 2006, I believe. And maybe it's 2007. I missed open enrollment by one day. So I had to go an entire year without health insurance. Luckily, I didn't get injured. I didn't need to go to the doctor. Actually, no, I did. I got kidney stones. I got hit with like a $10,000 bill. Anyway, so I had to go the whole year without health insurance the year Obamacare was introduced. When I went and did my taxes that year, they asked me at H&R Block, they asked me if I had health insurance. Like a dummy, I just said no. And they don't check. I should have just said yeah. I got hit with a $1,600 penalty because I didn't have health insurance, because I couldn't afford health insurance. That's what Obamacare did. And health insurance immediately skyrocketed once they made it law that everybody has to have health insurance. If you don't want to have health insurance, or you can't afford health insurance, you should be able to just not have it. Why pass a law saying that everybody has to have it? It's freaking insane. Terry Wallace, Gavin knows the businesses will leave. Yeah. But will he cut the budget though? I mean, I don't think he cares. I don't think he cares at all. All right, let's keep going here. We're almost, geez, I'm already way over. I'm sorry, guys. I meant to keep this to an hour, but I'm probably going to go another 20 minutes. So this is bonkers out in Lake Tahoe. Did you guys see this last week? Lake Tahoe had this crazy summer storm hit, and it was freaking bonkers. So at first it looks nice and quaint, right? So this was like a week ago. Look at all the snow that landed in Lake Tahoe. Look at this. This is what you see in winter in Tahoe, and it's glorious. It's beautiful when you see it. Like the Tahoe is a winter wonderland, and it's beautiful, absolutely magnificent in Lake Tahoe. But this was bad. This storm hit, and like, look at these videos that came out of here.
Holy shit!
Look at all these boats. Tons of boats got destroyed.
Holy shit, dude! Holy shit! The sheriff boat's off. Bro.
Look at that's the dock.
That's insane, dude. Boats are sinking. Oh, fuck, dude. Listen. Oh my god. Bro, this is insane.
All right, you guys get the point. There's freaking bonkers out there. Let's see. Okay, keep going here. Another video. Let's play it really quick just to get a perspective. This is a different view. Right. Boats are actually sinking. This is June 21st, the middle of summer. It looks like winter. I mean, insane storm. And what happened, so 8 women died in this. This was catastrophic. So chaos in Lake Tahoe. A sudden storm flipped a tourist boat, leaving 8 women dead. Boats smashed ashore. People dove for safety. Then the sun came back like nothing happened. So these are the women. These women died on the lake, just out of nowhere. This storm happened. So it's absolute tragedy. And then this is like a few minutes later, sun came back out, and it's just like back to normal. And then look at all the snow that fell in the background. Freaking insane. So this guy says, and I don't want to put too much into this, but this guy says, regarding the hurricane storm around Lake Tahoe, this is a 12-hour loop from today. Notice the straight lines. Nothing about this is natural. And he puts hashtag geoengineering. So I don't know what he says about I don't know what he means about the straight lines. Oh, okay, he's talking about the storm, straight lines. So I don't know what I'm looking at. But, oh man, the storm just comes out of nowhere. Look at that. It just explodes. Freaking insane. Yeah, just look at it. It just grows and grows and grows, and then explodes right there. See all the blue? That is freaking bonkers. So just wanted to talk about that because it was such a crazy thing. Bob Tiergarten, climate change, it's because you don't have enough high taxes. Yes, you're right. That's what did this, taxes. All right, so this story caught my eye. This is out of Alameda. If you guys aren't familiar with the East Bay, like Oakland area, Alameda is an island. Alameda is an old, there used to be a massive military base out there. There's an airport, and there's only like 3 ways in and out of Alameda. And this company, Frontier Valley, they want to turn it into they want to build a tech city out in Alameda. And this just gave me 5-minute city vibes. Just because of the geography of Alameda, there's only a few ways in and a few ways out. And this company wants to build a tech city. So Alameda, California, the founder of a company is calling on President Trump to declare a national security emergency so it can build a new tech city on the site of a former naval base in Alameda. Frontier Valley founder James in Gallerina, I don't know if I said that right, said in a promotional spot that developing a 512-acre site in Alameda will allow the United States to stay ahead of other countries. Elon level ambition is the bar, he said in the promo, referring to Elon Musk. In this zone, we will all out pursue and achieve the absolute most radical deep tech moonshots. Deep tech moonshots. It just sounds sketchy. That mankind can imagine and beyond. Frontier Valley will be the home of and the birthplace of 1,000 new Elons, 1,000 new SpaceXs. This guy sounds like a jerk. In Gallerina was building off Trump's promise to build 10 freedom cities. Freedom cities. See, I don't like, so this is some of the stuff that I'm not liking about Trump with the whole partnership with Palantir and building a digital dossier on every American, aggregating all the data that you say, all of your purchases, location data, browser history, things you say on the internet, and creating a profile on you. And this freedom cities, which to me just sounds like a fancy way of saying 5-minute cities or 10-minute cities or 15, whatever, the cities that track your every movement, and you have to scan something to go in and out of freeways and keep you within the proximity of your home. Okay. Building off Trump's promise to build 10 freedom cities on the campaign trail, which he said would serve as a deregulated spaces to spark innovation. According to the San Francisco Chronicle, plans are already in the works in Alameda at Frontier Valley's proposed site, but that in Gallerina had not contacted them about the proposal. In a statement, a city official said that they have not been contacted by Frontier Valley, and that no reasonable fact supports the proposed declaration of emergency at Alameda Point. Since the closure of the Naval Air Station in Alameda, the city of Alameda has been successfully and collaboratively developing Alameda Point into a vibrant community of commercial, industrial, and residential uses, including many high-tech biotech uses. Sarah Henry, Alameda County's communications director, said in a statement. So that just caught my eye. It just sounds sketchy to me. It just sounds weird, you guys. I don't like the sound of it at all. Not at all. All right, got 2 more things I want to talk about because, just 2 more things, and I'll cut it after that. So this is a video from James Lee, and it's back to the LA fires. And like, how did they start? How did the LA fires start, you guys? Like, have any of you guys heard, like, has there been an investigation? Did they determine how these LA fires start? Well, James Lee did a little digging, and he seems to have an idea of how these LA fires started. And it's not looking good. It's not looking good for people that are managing this city and managing the fire services in this city. So let's listen to what James Lee has to say here.
I think I just found one of the biggest natural disaster cover-ups in American history. Okay, so do we all remember the massive wildfires in Los Angeles earlier this year? Well, the picture that you're looking at right now is not that. This is actually a picture from another wildfire that started 6 days earlier in the exact same spot. That's right, a small but not insignificant brush fire broke out the morning of January 1st that was supposedly very quickly put out. These are the side-by-side photos from the 1st and the 7th. You can see that they're in the exact same spot. Here's the overhead map. Once again, both fires starting in the exact same spot, just right outside this residential area. Now, according to a tweet posted by the LA Fire Department on the morning of January 1st at 4:48 a.m., that fire was supposedly fully contained. But was it actually fully put out? Because according to reports, quote, over the next 6 days, from January 2nd to January 6th, residents living along Calle Germain, Lockman Lane, and Upper Palisades Drive, that's the neighborhood of the map that we were looking at, they continue to observe smoke wisps drifting from the original ignition site. These sightings, reported through 311, local neighborhood watch alerts, and social media, were consistently dismissed as post-fire haze. Another report, this one from CBS News, cited a man named Zane Mitchell who was hiking along the path where the fire started, called Temescal Ridge Trail, and he noted that the ground by the Lockman Fire's burn scar were, quote, still smoldering. Here's a picture that he took that morning, ground clearly still smoldering. Now, I did some quick research, and according to wildfire experts, lingering hotspots can, quote, reignite under favoring conditions.
And this is 100% true. I talk about it a lot, but I lived through the August 2020 CZU fires that were starting because of dry lightning. And those fires were way more substantial than the Palisades fires. If you see the area that burned in our super dense redwoods out here, it's insane. And redwood trees, if you guys have been hiking in a redwood forest, you'll see like caves inside of a redwood tree. They're so big that you can actually walk into them. And that comes from what they call a burning heart. And it's when the fire actually gets inside the tree and it acts as like a chimney, because if you have a hole somewhere up at the top of the tree, it's drawing air in from the bottom. The fire is allowed to burn up through the fuel inside the tree and vent out the top. And in Big Basin up here in the Santa Cruz Mountains, these fires burned for over a year inside the trees. And ambers can carry for over a mile. So if you have a fire that's put out and there's still little smoldering hot pockets, if you get huge gusts of wind coming in, they can reignite those ambers, carry those ambers to other locations, and start a brand new fire. And that appears to be what happened here in the Palisades fires. Is this location wasn't entirely put out, and ambers were allowed to smolder, and they didn't stay on top of this. And listen to what he says about the radar, about how they didn't seem to be monitoring the radar, and it detects the temperatures in these fire areas to see if it's actually still smoldering.
And we know for a fact that's exactly the conditions that we saw in the coming days. Now, we're not done yet. I got more evidence for you. These images are from NASA's Sentinel-2 satellite, which showed that there were persistent heat signatures left by the January 1st fire.
So you can see here on the left, this is December 28th, 2024, and it doesn't show any heat signatures. And then the slide next to it, same satellite imagery, January 2nd. So 4 days later, and it shows, you see the red here in the circle. That's the hot spots picking up. And we got those Santa Ana winds that came in that were like hurricane force winds. That's going to ignite. Those ambers are going to carry.
Okay, so you can see this image here from December 28th, 2024. Everything looks green. And then on January 2nd, that exact same spot is now red, suggesting that indeed the fire was not fully put out. And not doing proper thermal imaging after a fire is against protocol, and that's something that the city allegedly did not do. Now, of course, nobody, not the fire chief, not Karen Bass, certainly not Gavin Newsom, can admit any of this because it necessarily means possible criminal negligence. Okay, we're talking deaths, property loss, damages into the hundreds of billions of dollars for breach of protocol and not properly extinguishing a previous fire, which at this point maybe explains why the city has still refused to release records regarding the LA Fire Department's actions leading up to the fire. Specifically, they've denied dozens of public records requests from journalists related to the handling of the fire, which includes 911 calls, dispatch logs, and internal communications about preparations. LA's Deputy Fire Chief Everett also expressed skepticism that the Palisades fire was sparked by rekindling of the earlier blaze, saying, quote, "That fire was dead out." But was it? Let me know what you think. I think
sounds like a cover-up, guys. Sounds like a cover-up to me. All right. Last thing I want to talk about, because this has got to me. So this is from Mayor Karen Bass. This is a post that she put out. She says there are entire sectors of the economy in Los Angeles that depend on immigrant labor. She means illegal immigrant labor, because immigrants aren't under any threat of being deported. So what she's saying is there are entire sectors of the economy in Los Angeles that are dependent on illegal immigrant labor. This administration is waging war against our own economy. No, you allowed your economy to be built off the backs of illegal immigrants, and now it's time to pay the piper. This is a scandal of the highest proportions. Sanctuary state policies allowed an entire economy to be built around cheap illegal labor. That's insane. That is insane policymaking, and that's what they did in LA, and they're trying to blame it on Trump. Casey Martin, nice to see you, man. Thanks for joining. I'm about to end, but I'm glad you're here. Nice to see you again.
Mayor Karen Bass is appealing to Angelenos to help support the area, its families, and other spots in LA hardest hit by the immigration enforcement.
I don't think the president understands that there are entire sectors of our economy that could not function without immigrant labor. We have 4,000 independent businesses.
Illegal immigrant labor.
In the fashion district. And the fashion district, as described by the owners and operators, is a ghost town.
Mayor Karen Bass is appealing to Angelenos to help support.
So there it is. There it is. Karen Bass is upset at Trump because she allowed, and her and other radical California progressive Democrats have allowed entire sectors of the California, not just LA economy, the California economy to be built off the backs of cheap illegal labor. And now that's all coming to a head. Great work, sanctuary state policymakers. Great freaking work. So that's pretty much what I got for tonight. I got other stuff pulled up, but I need to cut it there because I got to make dinner. I got to feed my dog and all that good stuff. And I got to get sleep. I got to be up at 4:30 in the morning. So, Casey Martin, that's all good, man. Yeah, thank you for reminding me. If you guys made it through the whole episode, please hit that like button. Like, please, it genuinely helps no matter what platform you're watching on. Hit the like button, repost, leave a comment. All that stuff helps the channel grow. I'm not even monetized on YouTube. I don't have enough subscribers over there. So if you're not subscribed already, please do. Same thing on Rumble, X, all that good stuff. I appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. Thank you for tuning in. I know it's a bit of a budget production out here, but I just like talking to you guys. I don't make money off this. It's not why I do it. I do it because I feel like these are the things that need to be talked about, and somebody's got to do it. There isn't a lot of people talking specifically about California policies, and I'm going to try to stay in my lane a little more. I'm trying to talk specifically about California stuff because that's what I'm supposed to be doing. But I'm into geopolitics too. I'm into that stuff. So when big world events happen, I am going to talk about that stuff. But I will try to do better about just staying in my lane, which is California policies. So I appreciate all you guys for being here. Thank you. Again, hit the like button, subscribe, all the good stuff. And that's all I got for tonight. But before we get out of here, you know how we do it. We got to tell a joke from the greatest book ever written, The Truth About Chuck Norris. What do we have tonight? Let's see. Okay. Chuck Norris joke of the evening. Again, thank you guys for joining. Casey Martin, Bob Tiergarden, Wally World, Terry Wallace, Northside. I think that's all you guys. Bay Area Conservative. Calvin Ball referee. Sorry, I didn't see your comment earlier. Ending the auto engine on off is a win too. Oh, I hate that when you come to a stoplight and the car cuts off. I hate it when I get a rental car that does that. You can turn it off somehow in the settings. Oh, I have a contact inside LA County's biggest homeless shelter. I have stories. If you're still watching, Calvin Ball, please DM me. I'd love to hear those stories. Sorlink Green, glad you joined too. I didn't see your comment earlier. All right, that's it. That's all I got. So, Chuck Norris joke of the evening. In one episode of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Chuck Norris replaced Carlton for a whole scene and nobody noticed. And on that note, stay CaliBased. I didn't even get that joke.